What's up, everyone? I am Tim Oates on bass, and I enjoyed the last Weezer album, OK Human, so much that I just had to check out their newest one, Van Weezer. So you may remember from earlier in the year when I reviewed the surprise album that Weezer dropped called OK Human. I was pretty blown away by it. Probably one of the best things I've heard in quite a while. And this is actually the second album they're releasing. This is the one that actually everyone's been waiting for, Van Weezer. This is their 15th studio album, and Rivers Cuomo actually has said that this is more of a hard rock influence. So I am curious what this is going to sound like. I'm also really curious how it's going to compare to OK Human. So I want to dive into it. Now, if this is the first time you've done one of these with me, here's how it works. When we dive into a song, you're going to see a title card pop up. That's your chance to pause the video, go listen to the song with me. When you're done, unpause, hear my thoughts, think about your thoughts. It's like reviewing it together. All right, let's check out the first song. This is Hero. All right, so I can definitely hear the harder edge. I found it to be a good song, catchy. There's really no standout parts. There's, none of the instruments stood out as really like wowing me on their own. None of the individual parts were jumping at me going like, oh wow, like that was an awesome bridge or chorus or verse, whatever. It was just a good, catchy song like the whole way through. The video is definitely neat. I thought it was a clever way to shoot a video during a quarantine, but without making it seem like COVID obvious. Except at the end, there's like literally a message about the pandemic and face masks and stuff like that. By the way, did anyone else catch Rivers Cuomo in the video playing a guitar with a broken string? Am I the only one someone else had to have caught that. It was I laughed out loud. So that's the first song. It is good. Let's get to the next one. This is All the Good Ones. It's another catchy one. I will say that it kind of had like a similar rhythmic pattern to it. Kind of this like 2-hit pulse that went throughout. It was very similar to the last song, Hero. I mean, Hero had it in spots. It wasn't throughout the whole song. Like with this song, it was throughout the whole song. This bump, bump, going 2 songs back to back with that feeling. I don't know that I would have gone with that choice, just being that close on the album. Felt like a solo would have really added. Didn't need to be like a huge shred fest or anything, but I wanted there to be a solo. In fact, there was actually a spot towards the end where like the guitar started to like, it felt like it was going to go into a solo. It kind of did this like little quick riff that would have been perfect intro, but it didn't. It just rolled right back into the chorus. And I will say, I felt like the ending was a little long. Even though the song was under 3 minutes, adding a little solo in the middle of that ending, right, where, that little guitar riff went, would have been perfect. It would have broken it up, make the ending not feel quite as long because it had that solo in the middle. And it still would have been like a slightly over 3-minute song. But whatever. I'm not saying that I know more than Weezer. Let's see what song 3 has to bring. This is The End of the Game. Okay, there's that solo I wanted. The intro had this like riff going. It felt so much like 80s hair metal. You can totally hear the Van Halen influence in there. The chorus gets a little bit different, right? Like it's still Weezer, but like not quite 80s hair metal, but kind of like 90s one-hit wonder rock. Fountains Wayne, Harvey Danger, Bare Naked Ladies. And yes, I know some of those bands actually had multiple songs, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean, that 90s one-hit wonder rock feel. I would say this song is definitely more what I was expecting, right? Like when you hear Weezer's doing like a more hard rock album, especially with the name Van Weezer, like you expect some Van Halen, you expect that era to be there, and I thought this really captured it. Really cool song. Dug this one a lot. Let's see what song 4 has to bring. This is I Need Some of That. I Need Some of That. I need some of that. That's Very, very thematic, right? Like it's sticking with the theme of the album. There was a little too much synth for me to say this was 90s. It was definitely 80s synth, but the music I would say is probably a little bit more like 90s. It's fun. It's all about like looking back into being a kid, lots of, older references of like riding a bike around and kind of that, youthful don't care, not because you're responsible, because you're a kid and like you have nothing to care about. I had a true solo in it. I dug that, right? So this wasn't like an intro riff that was kind of solo-ish. This was in the middle where you'd expect a solo. It was simple, right? It was just kind of shadowing the chorus, but it was super effective. And I really appreciated a solo being in there. Let's see what the next one is. This one is the beginning of the end. And apparently this is from Bill and Ted Face the Music, which I still haven't seen. I need to see that because I do love me some Bill and Ted, but I have not seen Face the Music. So listen to the song and then I'll think about watching the movie at some point. First thing I thought was, okay, this intro sounds like Weezer. It's Rivers singing, playing a clean guitar. And then as soon as the song kicked in, I was like, oh, I've heard this song, which makes sense. I mean, the new Bill and Ted movie came out last year. Song's been out since then. It was, a big promotional thing. So I've heard the song. It's a really cool song. It's nice to hear it in context of the album because it just makes so much more sense hearing it with the album. It's so relevant. It is got a crazy catchy chorus. I mean, chorus is really, really, really catchy. The solo was more complex, a little more tasty. Saw some tapping in there. Noise. I gotta say this real quick. The mustache on Rivers Cuomo, he's got to kill that thing if he hasn't already, because all I see is Ned Flanders. Like, Oakley dokley, not a good look, Rivers. Don't, just get rid of it. Don't, no. I'm halfway through now. There's only 10 songs and I'm through 5 of them. So far the album is good. It's not blowing me away quite like OK Human did. But at the same time, there's nothing bad about this album so far. Like, it's still a really good album. Let's get to the next one. This is Blue Dream. This may be an unpopular opinion. Let me explain. Obviously includes Crazy Train. I mean, the music is a version of Crazy Train. And I'm not like criticizing. It's, if you go look it up, Ozzy, Randy Rhoads, Bob Daisley, like, all got writing credits on this song because it is Crazy Train. This isn't like when I was, ripping on Greta Van Fleet and the Zeppelin thing, which, by the way, please, like, go save me. I need the likes and the positive comments because Greta Van Fleet fans are ripping me apart over there. I said it last week. I still need help. Anyway, this is not them trying to rip off Crazy Train. This is a very intentional thing. So it is very different. But I had a hard time hearing the song through Crazy Train. To me, it felt forced. I did not like the way that they went about it. Sorry, that might be an unpopular opinion. I'm prepared for your wrath if that's the case. But let's see if the next song makes up for it. This is One More Hit. So far, that's the heaviest song on the album. I'm wondering if they're using drop tuning. It felt a little lower than normal. I mean, it was, dare I say, almost a little genty. Probably not fast enough to be gent, but definitely had that, like, drop tune kind of chuggy chug feel. It does have the lyric in it, pump it up into me, please, daddy, which the first time I heard took me by surprise. It's a song about drugs. It's about, like, quitting drugs and, like, addiction. So once I realized that, hearing the rest of the lyrics, I was like, okay, it makes sense, but good Lord, what a weird-ass lyric. The bridge, absolute fire. It goes back super heavy, kind of, like, slows down, like, chugging along. Really, really dug that bridge. Got 3 left. Next up is Sheila Can Do It. One of the things that I've noticed about this album is that the chorus is always catchy. It always kind of has that Weezer catchy feel. And this song's no different. These catchy choruses, they kind of bleed into each other. Like, I'm now 8 songs in, and from the choruses, I know that they're all catchy, but I don't really remember any of them aside from the one that I've just heard. For instance, in this song, the thing that jumps out at me is in the verses, the guitars are rocking the whammy bars. I mean, you can just hear that wah, 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 like just they're just rocking on them, and that's such an 80s thing to do, right? That was a cool little throwback, but yeah, like the songs are just starting to bleed in together. Again, good songs, right? Like good catchy songs, but none of them are really standing out a ton. But let's see what the last 2 bring. Next up is She Needs Me. This song is interesting because I enjoyed parts of it. Like the intro, and it was also in the outro. That was really good. The bridge was good, and it's not even like I disliked the verse and the chorus. The way that it's composed, like the way the song was put together, it almost felt kind of stitched. It felt a little bit like there was just these random parts lying around that they kind of threw together and tried to stitch them together, like with the bad surgery. I can definitely really appreciate the whole like grab what you have from the cutting room floor and try to build like a composition type song together, right? Like the Beatles were known for doing that. They kind of paved the way for that, and other bands have. I think even Weezer has done that before. And if it's done really well, it can work. But I don't know. This one just felt a little forced. But again, had parts that were cool. All right, last song. This is Precious Metal Girl. Great way to end the album. Great way to end the album. This was just a straight acoustic song. It was a love song. There are going to be people that will get married, and this song will be their first dance. I guarantee there are already people planning this out right now. It's going to happen. It is a sweet, sweet song done really tastefully. And I really appreciated that in the lyrics, they still were able to get in 80s references. Faster Pussycat, leather jacket with patches, neon signs, LA Guns, Aquanet. I'm sure there's others that I'm missing as well. Those are just kind of the ones that I grabbed quickly. Excellent way to end the album. And this is a song that stands out. This is definitely one that, like, what I was saying before about how everything kind of meshes together. No, this one's going to stand out. In terms of the album as a whole, I think it's a good album. Like, I know I had some criticisms in there, right? Like, these are honest reviews. I do think that there is some elements that just, it kind of all bleeds together. It all kind of sounds the same, even though it all sounds different, if that makes any sense. But I really appreciated how much effort went into making this feel like a different album. Like, this feels like something that you haven't heard in a while. The whole album is reminiscent of a different time, that 80s hair metal, or just 80s with a little bit of like early 90s influence there as well. Yeah, check it out. It's a good album. I'm pleased that I've heard this. Let me know your thoughts. Drop comments. Tell me everything that you want me to know. If you agree, if you disagree, please like the video. If you feel like you have to dislike it, I guess, go ahead and dislike it. The algorithm likes interaction, but like the video. And subscribe to the channel. I do tons of album reviews. I also do this little thing called Guess That Baseline once a month. So make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can check out all that I bring. You keep making beautiful music, and I will see you in the next one.